Parkland victim shows up to WH for meeting Trump and Melania, delivers shocking surprise instead. Since the February 14 Parkland, Florida shooting, much of the hate and outrage over the atrocity has been directed at President Donald Trump rather than the killer himself. As well, the real issue. Regardless of there being a number of mass shootings while Barack Obama was in office, he never received the onslaught of attack and blame like Trump has, despite his contribution to what caused the increase of shootings in society. Many teen victims from the school have become puppets for adults with an anti-gun agenda, using children, as liberals are notorious for, to do their dirty work. Suddenly, seemingly overnight, teens who had never had concern lofty political topics and debate, supposedly became constitutional scholars and advocates for only one cause. They made bold demands and issued ultimatums to the president, who respectfully responded, extending many outspoken survivors an invitation to the White House to meet with him over their concerns, an incredible honor reserved for only a small few each year. Most students refused to meet him and grandstanded his invitation with disrespectful statements about what they were going to do instead, but one victim took Trump up on the offer, 16-year-old Kyle Kashuv. His name isn't one you have heard, it hasn't become synonymous with the shooting, and he has yet to appear in a single mainstream news interview. This is not a coincidence. So, why would a teen guy like him get the presidential honor when we haven't heard of him? Steven Crowder explains. In the wake of the Parkland shooting, there seem to be two paths for a survivor. One is to let yourself become a pawn for liberal activists and repeat their talking points like an automaton. This leads to loads of praise from trend-following celebs. At least until they find another shiny new cause of the day to tout. The other path is for a survivor to not act like a smug jerkface and actually talk to the people who have the power to make the changes you desire. Instead of soiling your huggies and squealing everyone who disagrees with me is a child murderer. Survivor Kyle Kashuv is choosing the non-dirty diaper path. Which, if you've been watching the news lately, seems to be the road less traveled. Kyle has been in Washington, D.C. for the past few days meeting with various lawmakers to voice his concerns about gun control laws. When meeting with the First Lady, Kyle showed her the Reach Out app, which he has been promoting in the wake of the deadly shooting at his school. In the immediate aftermath of the shooting, Kyle had said that he supported Trump in the last election and considers himself a Republican. But he said the shooting made him reconsider his position on guns, saying there needs to be stronger background checks to make sure mentally unstable people like Nicholas Cruz can't purchase weapons. Previously, I believed that everyone under the Constitution should be allowed to have guns, but I now realize that not everyone should have guns and we should have way stricter background checks and mental evaluations, he said. We need to reach a middle ground and have some reform. Kyle isn't just talking about the issue, he's being proactive about what he can personally do to be a solution and not simply a SHD starter like some of his peers seem to be. According to Sarah Palin, his mission, as he says it, is to help the opposing political parties see eye to eye on issues and truly begin to put forth solutions which will actually help prevent future incidents. The student shows the President and First Lady an app he had created in the aftermath of that atrocity in hopes of helping students anywhere and possibly preventing another shooting. When meeting with the First Lady, Kyle showed her the Reach Out app, which he has been promoting in the wake of the deadly shooting at his school, the Daily Mail reported. The app lets students reach students to discuss emotional or mental problems they might be experiencing. Wow, this kid really must have some great parents who raised him well with some solid common sense, or at a minimum, never made excuses for bad behavior or attitude. This parental example alone is something a lot of people raising kids can learn from, which would really reduce the frequency of issues that plague society, including school shootings. It's a hard thing for masters of the blame game to hear, since it takes effort and responsibility, being personally accountable on all of those things, to eventually correct the issue. There's no quick resolve to solve it all, especially by controlling an object and not a behavior.